I've spent over 10 years working professionally in PowerPoint and bundle everything that I know into this template. A template that actually does the heavy lifting for you so you can stop struggling in PowerPoint and you can focus on what truly matters, which is your content. Now, a lot of people struggle in PowerPoint because they don't use a template that was set up correctly. So they have to do a lot of manual tweaking and a lot of effort to get something to look right or to change it the way they want it to change. While if you work in a solid template, well, all that heavy lifting can be done for you by PowerPoint and Copilot itself. Now, if you're wondering why you should listen to me, my name is Sander and I'm a Microsoft PowerPoint MVP, and I build company templates and presentations for people all around the world and really try to dive deep into PowerPoint and understand how it actually works so you can stop fighting it. So if you finally want to stop wasting time in PowerPoint and work with a real template, you can find all of the information in the description below. Let's have a look at what's available in this template. And for that, we're starting with the coolest thing, which is switching from light to dark mode. And this is actually the fastest way where you can see if a template has been set up correctly and if it will give you a lot of headaches or if it will actually work for you and save you a lot of time. So we can see here are hundreds of demo slides that I've built upon the slide master. We'll look into that later. But you can see like all different slides like SWOT analysis, timelines, image placeholders, there's some mockups, there's a lot of variations available that you could use. Some maps, some charts, some very detailed maybe financial reporting slides. Now what if you go to the design tab here? You can see we're working in the dark mode currently. But what if you want to change to a light mode? You can do that with one simple click and you can change the entire deck and you can see it happening in real time. You can change it to a light mode with the accent colors in that dark, but you can also switch it to, for example, completely black. That is perfectly possible, or completely white. So what I've done is I've made a little bit of a nicer touch to it. I always like to have that dark tone where we have a little bit of a bluish feel in it, so like that charcoal, a little bit midnight blue combination that really stands out nicely and is very often used by, for example, Apple or other tech companies. Now, of course, you can fully customize it the way you want it and also have this slightly off-white, so it's not that harsh on the eye, because a lot of the templates that you find that are black and white, they're very harsh on the eye or on the screen, but these ones are just a little bit softer, but you can also go for the complete black and complete white if you want. But just if you want to have that subtle touch, it's perfectly possible. One of the cool things as well, let's say you want to do a chapter from 1 to 2, you select the slides and you want to have that in the dark mode, that is also possible. So you can see how you can start to play around with it. You can maybe select some slides that is from a different presenter or someone, maybe a customer, doesn't really matter. You can put them in the different slides and you're really in control of that theme that you use. Now, this is just a quick way to show you that the foundation has been built correctly and that the solid foundation upon which the presentation is built and upon which your presentations will be built is really there. Now, besides colors, there's also an important thing like fonts. If you want to have a specific font that matches your brand or your company, well, you can also do that. So let's have a look at fonts here. Now, here in this presentation, we can see that we're working with pop-ins. So we're working with that for the header and the body text. And this font pair is super important because if you use a slide deck that doesn't have this font pair, and you can see here it's used for the body correctly and it's used for the title correctly throughout the entire deck. But if your presentation doesn't do that, it will give you a lot of headaches. So the way to check this, if you go to the slide master, you can easily change it to, for example, let's take a contrasting one like Garamond, so we can see it in the sans serif, and you can already see a change here. If we go to the front end, here we can see that everything has nicely changed to that sans or to that serif font. So even if you have a certain brand font that you want to use, that is all perfectly possible with this template in just one simple click. So you don't have to do any manual tweaking, it's all done for you. So now that we have the colors and the fonts out of the way, I think the most important thing is the actual slide master and the slide layouts upon which we can build things. And also for those, you can see that we have multiple available. So if you go to layouts, here you can see they're bundled nicely in the category. So this is the dark blue category. We can see we have title slides, we have the standard ones from PowerPoint. So you have to keep those in for Copilot, that is important. Title slide, I've also added the ones with subtitles. So if you want to have a slide with a subtitle, let's say we want this, well, you can have that and you can use that. You can instantly change it to something without a subtitle. That is all perfectly possible. Or you go to, for example, a more heavy content on the right side or a chart and a title on the left. That is also possible. So all of these charts, you can see there's over 50 different layouts that we can use with image placeholders, text placeholders, all ready for you to start filling in your content and to start adding your stuff. For example, this one here, design is not just what it looks like. It's also, I think that's the quote, how it works or something from Steve Jobs. So you can start to type in your quotes. You can start to type in the author and you have a really nice solution here. So just see how fast you can start to create those slides. Let's take another example with some, for example, an agenda. And we start to type in today's agenda. And we say we have a nice welcome. We have a meet the team. We have a product launch. We have questions and answers. And then a next steps, for example. So if we have something like this, we can instantly do that. We can also change the layouts. If we want to have something longer and we have a longer agenda, well, we can just do that. And you see how everything nicely shifts. So it doesn't need any touches or retouches. It automatically shifts, and that's really cool. Also, if you want to add an image here, let's go to the image and let's type in, for example, a building if it's an architecture company. And let's do something nice here and add it. It will automatically snap into that placeholder. And also here, if we have, for example, a shorter layout and we just change the layout to that agenda, the shorter one, everything nicely adapts and does the things accordingly. Now this of course is only the tip of the iceberg, because if we ever want to have, for example, a team in place, what we can do, let's say we have 3 team members, meet the team, and I'm going to do the same here, but I'm going to show you a really nice trick here. So go to images and let's say portrait. So we have portrait of people, so people, and we take, and let's look for some business people. Let's maybe type some business people. See what we can find. 1, 2, and then we take another one here, 3, and we add them to the slide. So I click, I don't do anything, and they automatically fill into place. You can always use the crop feature, so you can just increase the size and just reposition how you like that. If you ever want to change the layout, you can always go to, for example, 4 images, and you see how everything nicely shifts, and we can instantly add that extra person. Let's add this woman to the slide, and then we just crop the images, reposition, and just see how fast that goes and how fast you can create those slides of that team picture in just a few seconds. Same goes if you ever want to delete one, just delete it, go to layout, change it to 3, and you're done. And that I think is super important, that you have a solid layout. So we have that layout for the light version, we have that layout for the dark version, and you can instantly switch around between those. Now, what is also important if you have this layout is that you can actually use Copilot and designer suggestions for it. So let's have a look at how that works. So let's say we start like many people do and we have a title only, meet the team. What people do then is they go and drag in some images that they can find. So let's type in business people again and then add some pictures to the slide. So let's do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we add 4 pictures to the slide. And this is what a lot of people will do. They will add their pictures to the slide, either they drag them in the slide, that doesn't matter. And then they start to reposition and start to create a slide that looks nice. Now the good thing is, once we have set up the slide master the way it was intended by PowerPoint, we can go to the Home tab and we go to design suggestions. And this will give us some suggestions on the right, and I'll just put it on full screen, and suggestions that actually make sense. So build on our slide master. So no random results, it will actually create some results that are used in the slide master. So here we can see that example from the 4 people. Well, there's also some other ones that we can easily use and just start to bring in our content. So this will save us so much time. Even if we want to add another one, the 5th one is available here as well. Maybe we want to go for something more creative. That is all possible. So PowerPoint is really helping us out here when we want to create those slides, and if we use that slide master right. And that is something which I think a lot of people are underestimating. They are using a template that was designed to look nice on the front end, but once they start working in it, they start to struggle and they start to manually tweak everything. But once you have a slide master that is set up correctly, well, that's when the speed starts, and that's when the fun starts in PowerPoint, because you can let PowerPoint do the heavy lifting for you. And I'm not joking when I say it, like, it's super nice to switch between layouts and not have to worry about the restructuring. Now, of course, this goes for the pictures and the content that makes sense. If you add like a lot of content on the slide, PowerPoint won't recognize it. But for those simple things, well, you don't have to struggle anymore. And for the more complex slides, well, also for that, I've foreseen something. And this is actually where the fun part starts. So the way I've did this is I've created hundreds of different demo slides with pre-filled content that you can just easily adjust. So I'll quickly show you here. If we have these 3 points, what a lot of people will do is they'll start to readjust the text boxes if they need another one. Well, what we can simply do here is we just add a column to the right and we copy our content in and we change the label and we're done. Same goes the other way around. I mean, we just delete the column, we adjust, and everything nicely snaps into place without having to worry too much about the layouts. Now what I've done to make it a little bit easy to grasp and easy to understand is I've grouped them. So here on top we can see the different title layouts. So it doesn't matter whichever one you have. So let's say our new title goes in here. And if we ever want to change that, for example, we want to have we have a vertical image or like a horizontal image, we instantly change that. Title stays the same. We can also go to the one if we don't have an image, we can do that. We can also go to one where we want something more on the side. So there's like different variations that we can use. So that is for the titles, but then we also have general slides. General slides, for that I mean like agendas, we have tables, we have timelines, we have SWOT charts, we have what was it else, like quotes to the picture, like all of these content heavy slides that you often use, they're in that general section. Then I also have section number 2, which is bento boxes. This is also a very popular one, and the SWOT analysis is here. This is like the little card designs that we see on the trendy designs and presentations. So also for that, I've made like a whole bunch of variations that you can just overwrite your content, you can add your own stuff to it, and just makes it feel like it's been designed in a professional way. And that's what we want to achieve here. So you can see there's multiple variations in that bento style as well. And then number 3, I've made it like visuals and large images. So you can see all of these placeholders, you can just drop in all of your images at once and they will nicely fit in the boxes. I really like to see how that happens. So let's take an example here of these 5. If I just go to Insert, Icons, Images, and let's type in Nature, and I select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just press Enter, and I'm not touching anything anymore, and you see how it nicely fills in, and it all has those rounded corners. Everything is the way it was supposed to be. You can just delete if you don't want them, and you can add 5 other ones, insert, and they will snap again. So that is what we want to achieve. That is what we want to have. We want to have that flexibility. We want to work fast in PowerPoint. Now, besides those images, we also have a section with mockups. So that is what I've showed with the, for example, there's phones, there's handheld devices, there's also laptops on which you can just add your images, your screenshots, and they will look nice. They will just stand out that little bit more. We have some phone mockups that you can use, also both on each side, that are very easy to use, and you can just drag them around. You can add your own images to it, and that just fits. So you can play around, create something, animate them, doesn't really matter, you can go crazy with it. And then number 5, we also have infographics and world maps. So I've made some of the most common infographics that you'll see with charts that you can easily change. Let's say you want to have 75, just type it in and you have it available. Also this, if you change the light mode, everything will nicely change even after you've adapted the numbers. So that is the beauty about this. You can just change it the way you want it. So we see there's like a lot of different charts, and these, I really like these world maps. So they're interactive. Yeah, interactive. They're like editable world maps. So if you ever want to, for example, take Italy, you just take Italy, Control C, let's go to home, add a new slide. Let's say we want some text on the side and some room on the other side. So I'm going to take this one here, paste Italy in, add some points, add some stuff, our offices in Italy, and then you start to name it like Naples, Milan, and just add your own content. And this is how fast, or it shows you how fast you could work if you want to create those sort of slides. Same with the elements, you can just copy them, you can reposition them however you like. So that is really flexible, that is really nice to work with. Now, besides the maps, we also have some tables and charts, because I know a lot of people have asked for like more flexible content on tables and charts. So also these, they are just files, tables that you can use, you can add your Excels to it, you can go crazy with it. What I really like about these templates or these tables is that they also nicely convert. So just pay close attention to that highlighted section. Well, it nicely swaps, and the highlighted section in dark light and light mode, they both work. So that is what we want to create. Same goes for the charts. You can see all of these have real data behind them, so you can open them up, you can modify the data, and everything looks nice. Like the chart labels, they nicely switch. They become light when they need to become light, they become dark when they need to become dark. And then at the bottom, something really cool is there's an agenda. So like if you ever have dates and events, well, there's an agenda for 2026, but also month for month. So if you ever want to highlight or show something on a calendar view. For each month, I've made that slide available. So I really want to stress how easy it is to customize and to work with this template. So it's time to stop wasting time in PowerPoint and work with a real template. You can find the link in the description below. If you have any questions about the template, don't hesitate to get in touch.